to you and me. Every Friday for the last 17 years, I've been sitting right here in my local Panera Bread, helping entrepreneurs, business leaders, sales professionals, and anybody who really needs any help with almost anything when it comes to their professional development and moving forward in their lives and in their business. So today, we have a special opportunity because we're doing it live on video. So people who are out there in my video audience, they can see that and they can check in as we go on and listen back and record it and come back for it. But we're talking about something I think is very, very important. And it's very important to consider at the end of this year is it's pretty much how you want to lead going forward in 2020. And I have a suggestion in terms of how that leadership needs to go. What kind of products, what kind of processes, what kind of strategies you need to use to lead better in 2020. And I'm gonna one of the things we do at my organization called the Roundtable is we talk a lot about collaboration. In fact, it's one of our key tenets of our organization. Collaboration, encouragement, and communication. All three of these things are key to developing high quality relationships and moving people forward together collectively, leveraging your networks and technology and other things like that. So you need to know how to do that really, really well. Today we're talking about the wisdom of collaboration. And I'm going to start you off with a quote from one of my favorite authors. This is John C. Maxwell. John Maxwell says, "The company owner doesn't need to win. The best idea does." So you think about collaboration and what collaboration really does for the organization, and you want to value it. People who value collaboration kind of give respect to the notion that ideas are more valuable when they're born collectively than when they're born simply by one individual. And there's lots of reasons for that. One of the reasons is it's about partnership and it's about association. It says to the team and to the leaders that everybody matters. Everybody's ideas are important. How decisions are made, what things are done, all shared by everybody collectively and collaboratively. Really makes a lot of sense. And you recognize people by helping them engage more. They'll achieve more buy-in, they'll stick to decisions better, and they'll get more involved, which is key to winning in today's diverse environments, right? When people know that you refuse to move forward or take the field or do anything without them, then they feel valued, they're going to give you more of their best effort, they're going to recognize that there's a mutual dependency, and in fact there's a caring for one another that makes a lot of sense. So there are 8 basic rules of collaboration. And no matter how you slice it, you got to follow all these rules. If you don't follow these rules, if you don't find yourself understanding how to use them well, the principles that go behind them, people that you need to honor and respect them, then I think you're gonna find problems with collaborations. Because immediately when you say you want to collaborate, you know for a fact you're going to slow things down. Because what you can do as an individual, how fast you can think as an individual, how fast you can decide as an individual is like lightning fast. It's quick, right? But when you have to collaborate with others, it requires a whole different skill set. You've got to learn how to communicate effectively. You've got to be patient. All kinds of things have to happen in order for you to do it well. But these 8 rules, if you understand these 8 rules and you follow these 8 rules, you're going to be a brilliant collaborator. No matter where you are in your business, in your life, you'll be brilliant at it. Rule number 1, you got to know how to honor teamwork. That's a big word, teamwork. Because a lot of times when you think of teamwork, you think of, football teams, basketball teams, and sports teams or whatever. But every group, every team, every organization is literally a team. Now, they're either efficient and effective or they're not. But the goal of teamwork is to maximize and capitalize on the strength of every single member of the team to create more efficiency and more effectiveness. It's a combined action. Andrew Carnegie says, teamwork is the ability to work together toward a common vision, the ability to direct individual accomplishments toward organizational objectives. It is the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results. It's the fuel that allows uncommon people or common people to attain uncommon results. I love that thought process when it comes to teamwork. Because on the team, there's going to be weak members. There's going to be strong members, but collectively, they become stronger than they can ever become by themselves. That's really cool about teamwork. When people are working in teams together, then they're cooperating together. They're building solidarity with one another. They're learning how to communicate more effectively. They're falling into a fellowship. It's hard to be on a team with somebody and that you don't like. You know, if you got team members that you don't like each other, automatically the team starts to fall apart. So it's very important for leaders to understand what they like about each of the team members themselves, and to be able to introduce each other and what they like about each other to the team as well. Good leaders are always effective at that. You know, when you're onboarding somebody, you're bringing somebody new into the team, you have to be good at making sure that everybody on the team respects this individual that's coming to the team for whatever reason. And it really, as a leader, it means you have to figure out what that reason is. What is it? Why do you respect that person? And your credibility goes along with, you know, why you brought them on the team in the first place. We don't always get to choose the teams that we're on, right? Sometimes we get stuck with a group. It's very important for a team, if they're going to think about collaborating with each other in any way, shape, or form, really come together and figure out where they're strong. Who has a particular strength in this area, who has a particular strength in that area, and figure out ways to honor those strengths. Figure out ways that you're going to engage with one another, figure out ways that you're going to be able to depend on another, which leads me to the next one. But when it's not done well, like I said before, you're going to see efficiency fall down, and you're going to see effectiveness fall down. You're not going to meet your goals, things are not going to work right. Everybody's going to know it. And in a collaborative environment, it's not just the leader's fault. It's everybody's fault when it doesn't work out. Even though the leader might bear responsibility, but because he or she may have shared that responsibility with other people through, you know, making sure that everybody had everything they needed, the tools they needed, whatever they needed. Maybe that didn't happen too well. It becomes pretty much everybody's fault because people didn't see. They worked together. They were delegated the responsibility for the entire mission or objective together. If not, then it falls back in, okay, you're the facilitator, you're the leader, whatever you are, you're responsible. And that's an easy way to lose. You know, so I wouldn't say as a leader you need to collaborate unless you have permission to do so or the okay from the higher ups, because they're going to hold you accountable. And if you don't say this is the style of leadership that I want to use, this is the type of process that I want to use, and get sign off on them on your collaboration, you might find yourself in a precarious position when things don't go the way everybody wants them to go, projections, because you're going to be held responsible. Does that make sense? Yes. So collaborative leaders always create teams that enjoy and appreciate the opportunity to work together. They understand and depend on each other for strength, and they create winning combinations. They put together people very, very well. And once you learn how to honor teamwork, you got to go to number 2, which is respecting diversity. This one's a complicated thing because we're not inherently open to diversity. This thing has to be kind of taught from the beginning. How do you develop the faith and the belief that somebody that doesn't look like you, talk like you, think like you, has something meaningful to share in a collaborative effort? Again, back to the leader, if that person's been oriented to the team well, or those people have been oriented to the team well, then it's going to be a lot easier to do. But I love this quote. This is an unknown author who said this. Diversity is the one true thing we all have in common. Celebrate it every day. When you don't celebrate diversity, then you create a situation where people, instead of feeling accepted and included, they feel isolated and abandoned. And no one's going to give their best word when they feel isolated and abandoned. Not only are they not going to, they can't. Because we all have this inherent social quality in that we know when we're at risk. And when people are out to get us, when we think people are out to get us. In fact, when people are working with us, it's been like it's well-studied opportunity in that if you're doing public speaking, one of the reasons why people hate public speaking is because it's all eyes on them when they're doing public speaking, right? Back in the days when we were nomads, kind of running around the earth, kind of doing what we do, only thing that we stared at for any prolonged period of time was prey. So it's quite natural for humans to think that, oh my God, everybody's staring at me, I'm in trouble. You know, they're gonna come and get me tonight. I'm the guy, you know, whatever that is, and I'm gonna be the one they're throwing spears at in a couple seconds. You know, so you don't want people looking at you. You don't want people staring at you. You ever notice how you get that feeling when people are looking at you? You get that, like, you could tell from a crowded room or across the way. It's like we're predisposed to know that somebody is hunting us. And imagine if you're in an auditorium full of people and it's like 300 people in the room and they're all like, what is it that you have to say that's meaningful? It's a lot of pressure. So you have to think about that. Different cultures are going to understand how they fit in differently. And everybody needs to be responsible to try to create the environment where different ideas and different cultures are not just respected or tolerated, but actually celebrated. Because when you do that, you help people feel better about giving their best effort, knowing that, you know, nobody's out to get them, they're not under any threat or any risk, they're not there because they made whatever quota they had to make or whatever that is. They really have some strength to bring to the table, something unique, something special that they can bring to the table. Now, when you do that, you do it well. It's funny, a young lady asked me a question in a group training I was dealing with, and but I'll answer the question later on during the Q&A period. But it was interesting to me that even as she was going through her master's degree program in HR, she was still talking about equality in the workplace as even a phrase or a thought process. When today's workplaces, they don't even talk about equality anymore. They talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Because equality is not something that can be done, can be dealt with, can be even understood. It's treating everybody the same is like treating somebody unfairly always. Because we're not all the same. You know, you got brown hair, I got blonde hair, you got green eyes, you got blue eyes. There's different things that are going, we're different. And not respecting those differences is a lot of times what has been a part of the problems we've had in the past with people not feeling like they belong, even to something they've been doing for 30, 40 years. So now after you respect diversity, you got to value dependence. This one is very, very difficult from the Western point of view, which is why, and it's the core reason why we don't collaborate in the first place. Because what do we value? We value independence. Over all things, we value independence, especially American style. We're the home of the lone maverick. We're the home of, you know, the rugged individual, John Wayne. Everybody wants to be the man. Everybody can't be the man. Still, we have this understanding. I don't know how many kids today think they're going to be president. But there's more than there's actually going to be president. You know, it's like, it's not possible, right? Which is crazy, right? They think they got a shot because there's more candidates. But we need to learn the value as leaders, collaborative leaders, we need to learn the value dependence. Brian Tracy says, dependence is the glue that holds all relationships together, including the relationships between the leader and the led. It's trust, and trust is based on integrity. I love that thought process as well, because that first level of dependence obviously is on yourself. And you know, and you don't, and you know when you're outside of your own, outside of integrity. You know first. You're the first person. So everybody else kind of like, you know, we're trying to figure it out later on. It needs to be your behavior. But your thoughts betray you, and you know what they are right away. You know, it's like, ooh, I'm outside of integrity. How do I act? Can I get myself squared away? People who can do that, people who can act with integrity, more often are trusting. There's something to the thought process of depending on others to make sure as a leader that you're still being authentic, you're being honest, you're being open, you're being transparent, you're acting in integrity. If you can do that as a leader and open that door to helping other people hold you accountable on your team, they get to see you as an individual. They get to see you as a human being. They get to see themselves as a valued partner in your success and your growth and development. It takes a lot of bravery to say to, a team member after your 360 review or whatever that is, and they come back and you realize that, you know what, you're a bit antisocial. And people are not comfortable talking to you. To accept that as the truth, and then to say to your team, guys, anytime you catch me being antisocial, I need you to tell me. And immediately when you tell me, I'm going to give you $200. I'm going to trust you to inform me and give me the feedback I need to get to be better, because I need to be more connected to you. I need to be more involved. I need to be more focused on us as a team, not just on the task at hand. That takes guts for a leader to do. But leaders who do that are the kind of leaders who can collaborate really well and get the best ideas from people. These are the kind of people who, they may feel like they're being vulnerable, and they may feel like they're being weak, but they're actually being strong. They're actually showing an exceptional amount of character and resilience. In knowing that and trusting that, people aren't going to abuse that. They're not going to take advantage of them. But they're actually going to do what they can to help them. And that feedback is not criticism. It is an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to change. So you have to value dependence. There's a reason why people hate this word dependence. Because it's synonymous with a lot of other words that we hate. It's synonymous with helplessness. It's synonymous with victim. It's synonymous with subservience. It's synonymous with subordination. We don't want to be any of those things. And the notion of being dependent is something that we go, oh man, if I depend on somebody else, then what if they let me down? What if they don't? What if they instead, like we said earlier, work with you to become stronger than either one of you could become without each other? Dr. Stephen Covey, who is the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, used to say that synergy was one of the most important forces in the universe. How can you come together with somebody else, cover their weakness with your strength, have them cover your strength, or cover your weakness with their strength, and collectively you both become stronger? That's synergy. But we're not trained to look for synergy. We're not trained to find the strengths in other people or admit that we have any weaknesses. And I think good leaders moving forward have to learn to do that much better than they've ever had before. Now you understand how to respect diversity, how to move people forward, how to run teams. Now you got to really understand number 4. This is about the joy of unity. This is a difficult one too, because oftentimes when teams are working together, it's all about the mission. It's all about everybody doing their job, handling their responsibility. If it's, I've seen it in the military, I've seen it in teams all over the country. People work together and it's like, I just want to do my job. If I can do my job with simple excellence and I can depend on everybody else to do their job with the source of excellence, that's all I need to think about. And in a way, if everybody does that, you can come together and create greatness. Absolutely, no doubt. However, if you're not really paying attention to each other, you miss opportunities where you can help mentor, help train, help develop, help grow each other. Everybody's in their own silos. This is one of the reasons why I think it was Yahoo, one of the biggest companies, I can't remember exactly which one it was, but they decided to kill telework. Was it Yahoo or was it the other one?
I think it was Google.
Was it Google?
I think it
And then they had a female executive. One of them had a female executive for a while, and she decided, as soon as she came in, the first thing she said was cancel all telework. And this was crazy because they have a huge telework culture. And it was one of the tech companies. And it was either Yahoo or Google. I don't know which one it was. Anyhow, that was interesting because her thought was, I want to bring everybody together. I want everybody to see each other. I want everybody, working together collaboratively on the same stuff, focusing so that we can move forward and not have to do this, phoning it in from here and there, video chatting it in from here and there. She wanted people to really come together and be able to do good work. And that's interesting. Henry Ford said, coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. When you don't work together, when you're not in agreement, when you don't have harmony, when there's not unanimity, right? There's confusion. There's disorder. There's chaos. Some people would even say hysteria can take a hold. Something happens when people are not together that doesn't happen when they're apart. When they're together, they start to sync up emotionally. We start to balance each other out. We start to heart rhythms and pace of thought and understanding start to match. When we're all separate in our own little cubicles here and there all over the world, everybody's thinking whatever they're thinking. Communication, it doesn't really work well because most of our nonverbals don't come through, even on a video chat. Because where we would normally maybe be checking our phones or falling asleep or doing something that indicates that we're not all together there or present. We won't do that when we know that when we feel like our stuff we're being recorded, we're being watched, and people can go back later on and play and say, see, that's where you zoned out. That's not going to happen that much, and so our real feelings and our real emotions don't come through as much. And people say, I heard the argument. People say, video chat's fine for this and that and the other. And I was like, in a pinch, I agree. But if you can meet face to face, I think your communication is going to be better because most of our communication is nonverbal. And email does just don't even get me started on email and text messages. They don't cut it when it comes to effective communication. And so if you don't have a lot of time, you need to get something done important, you probably need to meet face to face. If it's not important, then why meet at all? You got to think about priorities of work and all that kind of good stuff. But enjoy coming together. Enjoy bringing the team together. Enjoy being a part of the team. Because that's a part of the thing that we can do as humans that other species can't do. We can actually have fun. Actually enjoy each other. We're not just working on instinct. It's like, ooh, you did something unique, something special. I can figure that out. We can talk about that. That's great, right? And you can share it with another friend who might be in the same group. Like, oh, did you know so-and-so was doing blah, blah, blah. Yeah. People might think, well, that has nothing to do with the price of tea in China, why we organize in the first place. But we organize so that we can come together collectively, fellowship, create opportunities, and work and enjoy the process. So we can't enjoy the process, we're going to talk about anything that we actually enjoy doing. Because if the work is drudgery, the last thing we want to do is talk about the work, right? But we still do the work if we have fun with each other. Number 5, understanding that collaboration is actually essential to existence. It's critical. Wellness, health, balance, all the things that we're trying to do, we do so much better when we collaborate than when we do all alone. Study after study after study shows that the loneliest society on the planet is the UK and the United States. Loneliest people. Now, that might not be such a big deal to be lonely, except when you understand that loneliness is actually death. It leads to illness of all types. Cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes, everything. All starts with loneliness. Being unplugged, not being a part of something. And so collaboration is a way where we develop meaning, we develop purpose. So our people are dependent on us. We are a part of something. A reason, we have a reason to get up, tie our shoes, and get out the house. But when we don't have something to collaborate on, work towards, or work with somebody else on, we don't have that reason. Loneliness sets in. Alternative truths set into our minds. We believe things. We get to believe things that are happening, that we think are happening unchecked. Because there's nobody to go, you sound like a nut job right about that. There's nobody to tell you you're off the rails with your thoughts. And that stacks up over time, because pretty soon you start to believe that this must be true. Whatever truth you want to believe. Almost every person has done something heinous in our society, some mass killing, some mass shooting, something has been, you can track back to their isolation and their loneliness. They kirked out because they never really checked in and plugged in to society, to other people. Very important. It's essential to your existence. Nietzsche said, and I love Nietzsche because he's a psychologist, right? So he said, try for once to justify the meaning of your existence as if it were a posteriori, by setting yourself an aim, a goal, an exalted noble. To this end, perish in pursuit of this and only this. Basically what Nietzsche was trying to say is, if you understand what collaboration is and how meaningful it is, make it a blood sport. Make it essential to your life. Don't think of everything that you do and think of how could you do this with somebody else? How could you share it with somebody else? How could you do it for, with, or about somebody else? And make that a value that is so precious to you that you'd be willing to die for. I think if you do that, you'll beat loneliness off. People who don't do that, who are like, oh, you know what? They're gonna eventually embrace loneliness because it's easy to embrace the suck. Both you guys are military guys, you know what I'm talking about. It's just easy to do it. It's easy to wallow in the misery. It's much easier to do that than it is to try to be optimistic or try to be positive or try to find the silver lining, right? So much easier to do. But if you can do it, here's what I do. Every time I want to learn something, every time I want to create something, I try to figure out who would benefit from this the most. And then I tell them, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it by a certain date, and I'm going to give it to you. All I ask is you take a look at it, tell me what you think about it, give me some feedback. That's how I grow. That's how I get better. By doing that, I make sure that, I put my best foot forward. Because, I need to create training and stuff like that for myself, for my business. But if I know I'm doing it for somebody else, I'm going to put that extra oomph in there. I'm going to put that extra opportunity in there. If I'm trying to impress them. If I'm trying to, help them create a change in their life or their business or whatever, it helps me to put that little extra touch on it that makes it special. If I'm getting their feedback, if I tell them, you know what, I'm not even going to finish it until I get your feedback. So your feedback is critical because we're collaborating on this. Right? Now, especially if that person I know is maybe a specialist in that area as well, we're working together on this. I give you credit, whatever that is, because what? I'm trying to get better. I believe in collaboration, but I also believe that it's essential to my existence and to the existence of others. One of the things I love about that example I just gave you is it helps somebody else feel meaningful, like they're doing something, they're contributing something of meaning. And it doesn't matter who it is. It could be literally the greatest. There's a reason why Muhammad Ali would go around and visit all the schools and talk to all the children, all that kind of stuff. Not just because it's part of his PR campaign or whatever that is. He actually felt like it was important that children got to spend time with him. And he would spend time with them. I remember as a child, you know, getting bussed from some place just to go hang out in the afternoon with Muhammad Ali. And I remember asking him the question about how he got started in fighting. And there's a story that he told like 1,000 times in his lifetime. You know, he's like, oh wow, okay, tell the story once again about how somebody stole my bike and I was mad and I was upset and so on and so forth. But he let us know that you don't have to just tolerate whatever happens to you in your life. You can learn a skill, you can do something, you can fight your way out. In his world, it was literally fight your way out. But the analogy was, you can fight your way out of anything. And those of us who got that felt like, oh wow, the champ said all we got to do is focus, work hard, and keep at it. Don't give up. For some of us, we were a little bit more resilient because of that moment. That may not have happened if it was somebody else who came and we went to see. But for some reason, he was the greatest at the time, right? So that connection, building that connection and building that collaborative opportunity is essential to our existence. Number 6, not only is collaboration essential to our existence, it helps to promote discovery. When individuals are working together with other people, they feel safe, they feel comfortable, they feel like they can do amazing things, and they try things they wouldn't normally try by themselves, without the safety of the tribe. It's crazy that way. Galileo says, all truths are easy to understand once they are discovered. The point is to discover them. We all often, especially in America, we celebrate those individual inventors that helped us move into the Industrial Revolution and all that kind of stuff. But you realize that most of our innovations were some collaborative effort. It wasn't an individual. You know, everybody wasn't Edison. Everybody wasn't George Washington Carver. Everybody wasn't, who's the guy who did the radio? Marconi. Or Tesla. You know, everybody wasn't these guys. These lone mavericks sitting in a laboratory somewhere thinking up stuff for us to do. Most people were working together with a team. There's tons more Wright brothers out there than there were, other individuals that were great. Why is that? They don't get celebrated though as much. But literally, if all that was ever created was the stuff that was created by the few scientists and the few engineers that we know about, we wouldn't have a lot of stuff that we currently have that we can do, right? So obviously, NASA wasn't one person. It was a collaboration. IBM wasn't one person. It was a collaboration. The innovations and things that these collaborations are brought to the table far outweigh the contributions of individuals. Well, they don't get written about in history. Raytheon came up with the first microwave?
Microwave oven?
Yeah.
I can believe that. Yeah. They're big in that. Microwave is used for communication all the time.
Exactly.
Probably something got cooked in the middle of
birds. Yeah.
And so I was like, oh wow, look at that. We can do this with this thing. And it was a collaboration. It wasn't a one person like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to set off to find a fast way to cook stuff. Nope. Happy accident, group of people trying to do something totally different. Boom, they came up with that. And so think about that. If we don't collaborate, we're lessening the promotion of discovery. We're lessening the impact and opportunities that can come from people just feeling safe enough to try something different. That's what happens. Okay, now after you promote discovery, you gotta do number 7. It's partnering with the universe. I love this thought process. The universe is the collaborative process. It's all kinds of systems and strategies and techniques working together to create existence, right? It is the tool that is actually used for everything. Cook my noodle when I was first taking chemistry, and we were breaking down molecules and atoms and to their nuclear existence, right? Like looking at them going, oh my God. And I realized, wait a minute, this is a little tiny circle with other little circles running around it. That's the same as the universe. The universe is made out of the same stuff that atoms are made of. It goes in the same principles. Blew my 13-year-old brain. It's like, wow. You mean to tell me there's a grand system for everything? The same building blocks are used for everything? Okay. Same strategy, same technique, same. Okay. This is what it is. So now I began to understand that if you're going to collaborate, then if you're not going to collaborate, then you're actually fighting against the universe. I don't know who's going to win that fight. I just don't want to fight against principles, things that are existed before me, will exist after me, concepts and ideas that are timeless. I think I'm gonna go along with those things to make sure that whatever I'm doing is in line or aligned with universal truths. If it's done by all people, if it's applicable in all cases, why would you then go, Mom, you something? I'm throwing that out. I'm gonna try something. You know what? Yes, I know. They say the sun's gonna come up tomorrow. I don't believe it. I'm gonna base my whole life and my whole principles on the fact that it's not coming up. This is the day that it's not gonna come up. Think you got a bad idea, and if you find people to support you in that craziness, guess what? You're all a little loopy, right? Does it make sense, right? You got collaborations that don't happen along the lines of the same universal principles that we all understand and we all can go with. Very hard to get people to support you. Very hard to get, ask Galileo. It's like, wait a minute. I don't know that he would, by the way, have shared his theories if he was actually all by himself and thinking it. That the earth was round. What do you think?
I think you're right.
I mean, what's the likelihood that he just came up with this concept by himself, no input, no sharing, no talking about it to anybody else? I'm willing to bet that what he did, in fact, was he did share it with other people, and they went, "You're crazy. I know it's true, but you can't tell anybody."
You can't tell church.
Don't tell anybody because they're gonna hang us all.
Right.
And he was like, I'm gonna go tell them. You validated my craziness, so now it must be real. I'm gonna go ahead and tell them. I think that's more likely what happened. But then again, he might have been just a loony bin out there by himself, lone maverick trying to make it happen. Who knows? I'm gonna rewrite history right now. Just Galileo is a collaboration. All right. The last thing you want to do as a collaborator is, if you don't get this right, everything else falls apart. Collaborators thrive on feedback. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you can't deal with feedback, you're a horrible collaborator. A lot of people go, oh, well, I got the best ideas. Says who? Me. Oh, well, that's wonderful. Let's see how many tickets you're going to sell at that party. Not a good idea. Collaborators thrive on feedback. Bill Gates himself said, I'm a great believer that any tool that enhances communication has profound effects in terms of how people can learn from each other and how they can achieve the kind of freedoms that they're actually interested in. That's just an incredible statement. Without feedback, without communication, without some type of engagement with other people, it's just impossible to know, are you winning? Are you losing? Does what you're doing make any sense? Is it meaningful to anybody except yourself? How many ideas down the vine never come to light because nobody knew about it. Or even if they did know about them, didn't know what to do with them. How many ideas don't get funded? They got a patent, they don't get funded. That means they can't launch. Doesn't mean anything. You know, a lot of I's have to be dotted, T's have to be crossed to pull some new innovation into fruition. Anybody, you guys, any of you see the movie called The Social Network? You didn't see it? So it's about the rise and development of a company that shan't be named in this video. But it's a big company that was created as a social media company, basically to rate girls, hot girls, in a very prestigious university. All right, and without this strange mix of some really different kind of characters, we would have never heard of Facebook. It wouldn't exist. Now it's a dominant force in the world for us to reckon with. And there is no opting out of it. You know, you can say, I don't want to play, but then you find that you're out of communication with your family members, people that they say they love you, but they're not going to pick up the phone and call you anymore when they can just post something online and expect that you saw it. And that's how they invite you to your parties now.
A lot of online services are using Facebook as validation that you are who you say you are.
That's right.
So in order to log into their service, you have to log into their service through Facebook.
Right. So it's become a credit check, so to speak. Are you really you?
Not a bot.
You know, are you a human being? These are things that are very, very important. And so feedback is something that is critical to your success as a collaborator. It's used as a basis for improvement. Great collaborators are even able to turn criticism into feedback. Dr. Covey also says between every response, and every stimulus and every response, there's a space. And inside that space is our ability to choose. To choose how we want to respond. So somebody gives you something that sounds like criticism. You get to choose. You can respond to it like feedback. The stronger you become, the more you do it, the more feedback you're going to get, the more you set the environment up to receive feedback by asking for it directly. Oftentimes you got to give people real permission to give you feedback. You're asking for what they think sometimes, and you don't really want to know what they think. They think you don't really want to know what they think either.
It's all criticism.
Right.
Sometimes it's constructive criticism.
Certainly. But you get to see it as whatever you want to see it as. You know, if you choose to see it as feedback, then it's feedback. But if you choose to see it as criticism, it can be really damaging. Especially if you get it over and over and over and over and over and over again. You might just give up on something you shouldn't give up. Or you might allow yourself to create yourself into somebody you don't want to be. Because the feedback from the world has literally torn you apart. But you allowed it to do it. You know, so you gotta take responsibility for it. Because between every stimulus and your response is the space where you get to choose. And not making that choice, or making that choice about something other than yourself, means you're giving up, you're abdicating. Like Dr. Covey says, your response ability is what you're advocating. You're giving it to somebody else. And you should really think about that when you're a leader. Okay, so the 8 steps to collaborating with wisdom are these. Once again, honor teamwork, respect diversity, value dependence, understand the joy of unity, understand that it's essential, that collaboration is essential to existence. It promotes discovery. it's a partnership with the universe, and last and not least, it thrives on feedback. That's our topic of discussion for today. I hope you guys in my studio audience had a good time. I know I did. And I hope you guys online, you have a good time. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. And when we come back, we're going to continue on. We're going to answer the Q&A. We're going to have some Q&A session. And we'll move on from there. All right, guys. Have a great one. All right. So let's...